Hey everyone, how's it going today? Yeah, I'm out here. It's actually bright out today, so hopefully everything shines through. I'm actually doing a video in the morning instead of doing it in the evening. This is a midday review. I haven't got a name for it. What do you know? Uh, anyway, midday review. Sorry, I was drinking some more coffee. Let me show you what we got going on out here. Ready? I don't know if you guys can see any of that. See that? Look at all the snow's melting away fine. The temp was supposed to be in the 40s today. This is my backyard. Uh, the wind blew over the chairs, you see that? Had to take the rolling thing off the deck because it was rolling around up here. And I'll tell you, um, when the wind gets going and you're in your house and you hear stuff moving around on the deck, it's kind of annoying. It kind of freaks you out. So we put it down on the ground. As you can see, right over there, you see all the snow in that? It's still. So it's not completely thawed out in areas. But what is nice to see, wait till you see this. Look at that. You can actually see my back deck. No ice, no snow. Um, there's still some areas you see where there's water. It's still kind of wet in spots up here. Um, yeah, it's nice. Oh, and look at the other day when I was showing you the trees and they had the ice on it. Ice is gone. Yeah, I never did get a good picture of that to send you guys. But yeah, and look at the buds. Even the buds are coming out on the trees. That's great. As long as it doesn't turn really super cold again, the trees will be fine. Uh, in the distance, I don't know if you can see that, but in the distance there's the fire pit and then the play center, and there's the hoses. I needed the hoses of one really super nice day we had. You can see I put the ashes around the base of the trees because it helps with fertilizer, fertilizes the trees. I still got to get some more over here. Let me take you over this way. Oh, well, I don't leave my coffee too far. Um, See, I still got to put some more fertilizer around these two. And over there is a bunch of bushes and shrubs that have to dry out that are going to go into the fire pit. Um, yeah, it's one of those things. You can see, oh yeah, and over in the distance, there's the play center. There's a shed where I try to store the wood, either right over there or alongside the shed right over there, where I try to store some of that stuff. So that's kind of a view of the backyard for the most part. And yeah, there's still a lot of ice on the pool and in the pool. So it's a bad thing still out here in South Dakota with the weather. Drinking my coffee. Gotta have coffee. It's midday. I've been up for quite a while. It's not like my first cup of the coffee today, so gotta have coffee. Um, Sometimes it's Folgers, sometimes it's Maxwell House, sometimes it's some of those flavored coffees that they have. Um, yeah, it was great anyway so far the day. We don't during the summertime. You see the picnic table over there. I don't know if you can see the picnic table all that well, but there's a picnic table right over in that location. I was trying to judge it to where you guys can see it, and then right over there is where that fire pit is. We put chairs around the fire pit at night and then have the fire going, and it's family time, and it's kind of quiet and everything else. Wheelbarrow that I use to bring all that stuff over. Yeah, that's not all my shrubs. That comes from the neighbors and stuff. The wind gets going back here pretty good because there's not much during the winter, especially. And certain times of the year with the trees here don't block too much. Oh, by the way, these trees are fruit-bearing trees. Um, I felt guilty about taking out certain trees, so when I took out trees, I tried to think green, and by doing so, I plant more trees. Well, the trees I have in the backyard here produce fruit, um, apples, peaches, plums, and pears. Um, the two alongside here, these are peach trees, and they need some work. They're not doing too well right now. I got to figure out what I got to do to improve them, to make them better. I don't want to lose them. It's nice to be able to walk back here and walk alongside the house, and there you go. You see the. This is where I do the videos at night, underneath the light right over there. I'll show you that in a bit. But it's nice to be able to see the grass now. Wasn't able to see the grass a while ago, so that's what I did. I spent a little time this morning putting together, because we got Magic today, Magic the Gathering, and so I spent a little time doing that this morning, and putting together another deck. Yeah, I know, me and Magic the Gathering, always putting together decks, but this one's a multicolored deck, a dinosaur one, and I'm trying to find a good combination of how this is going to work. I've got too many cards in it right now, so I need to go through the painful process of getting rid of some, figuring out which ones I'm going to get rid of, which ones I'm going to keep. Trying to get it to the point where it can almost play like instantly is kind of a difficult process. It really is. Probably spent about an hour doing that this morning. Baby just woke up again. But yeah, so this is the backyard. This is my tree right there that I've been trying to take out, and I need to get a bigger chainsaw. You can see where on the top, on that one branch there, I tried to cut away at it, and when I was cutting it, I got towards the center, and the chainsaw was not liking that. So I tried to cut down right through the center part of the tree, and if you look, you can see a slice starting there, and yeah, my chainsaw is not set up for that size of tree. I need to get a bigger chainsaw for cutting that thing down. It's pretty heavy duty. Finally got rid of the tree in the front yard, and I got rid of these 3 here, so that was a total of like 4 trees. And like I said, I was going green, so I went with fruit bearing trees, and I planted 5. I took out this, I don't know if you would count this as like 3 trees that grew up together into one, or if this is actually just one tree. But this tree over here, if you look at it, it looks like you got one tree grew one way, and one tree grew up straight through the center, and then you got one that's kind of off to the other side. So it kind of looks like 3 trees tried to grow together as one. This was a very dangerous tree when I was taking it out because of neighbor's house here, the shed, both sheds they have over there, and you see that power line right up there. Yeah, and then with it being close to my house here, and then where we got the rose bush sitting and stuff like that, it was pretty dangerous when taking that one out. High risk of hitting anything, high risk of taking out power lines and things like that. So my suggestion to you guys, if you're ever deciding to do kind of landscaping and stuff like that, where it is around power lines and stuff like, or around buildings, you have to be very careful. You really do, because you might not think about it, and it might not seem like that big a deal, but about the time a branch comes down and takes out your neighbor's house, or takes out a corner of it, or gets stuck up on the roof, or goes through their window, you're gonna remember that forever. a good note is we pretty much detopped most this tree here when I was taking it down, so that it didn't really run much of a risk. And for those of you that aren't familiar with what the terminology detopping means, is you go up as high as you can where you feel pretty stable and safe, and literally take off the top parts, top branches, and where they're smaller and easier to handle, and you guide them down to the ground. You don't let them drop per se. You tie them up on the ends as far as you can climb up there. You tie them up, and then you got somebody. It's a controlled drop where you get it to drop to a particular location or a particular spot where they're not going to do damage. Here it's a two-person job, because one person's cutting it, the other one's holding the rope or the chain or whatever you guys are using, and you're guiding the branch to fall in a particular location so that it's not going to, like I said, take out a wire or someone's shed or their house or go into their windows and that. It was a very difficult process. It was very time consuming. I didn't have a boom truck. A boom truck's a truck that lifts you up, or a lift truck, however you want to put it. I didn't have that kind of tools or equipment at my disposal, so I wasn't able to do that. So it was a very time-consuming process. We didn't get it all done in a day. And then when you got down to like the big areas towards the trunk, that was a very, very hard process. And at that time we had a bigger chainsaw, and I was able to take them out. But you know, like anything, the further you get down towards the roots, the thicker the tree gets. And there's one part on this tree here, you can see I cut through part of the way one way and part of the tree on the other way, and eventually it just kind of snapped off there in the middle. Now the smaller one was straight across. It was a simple cut. It was like, and down it went. One of the branches actually bounced up off my thing right over here, the fence. You can see how it's slightly bowed there. Thank goodness it wasn't a really super big one, but it was big enough to slightly bend that fence there. So yeah, like I said, you got to be careful with messing with trees and taking them down. It could have been really horrible. I could have ended up having to replace a fence, or yeah. I don't recommend that for everybody. Hiring a tree service to do it probably would have cost me about $300-400. But like you guys, some of you out there, I don't necessarily have that kind of extra money sitting around. Extra money, like that you can just spend $400 and say, here, come do this, you know. So we tried to do what we can by ourselves, and it took time. It takes time. I see why you pay those people that kind of money, because you're not risking your life, you're not risking your livelihood. Anything that happens is their responsibility. So in that regard, you know, it does save you a lot of headaches, but you have to have the money up front. You know, that's the way our society runs. Okay, if you got the means, you pay the people that can do it. I wouldn't do it for a living. It's a lot of work. But after doing that, it inspired me to plant some fruit-bearing trees, because I am about the environment, trying to maintain the environment, try to keep it clean and effective. Well, I'm going to let you go. They're here for magic, so I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one, and have a great day, and I'll send you another video later.